Sports astrologer's job is to increase the bench strength of the franchise. So he can see the longevity of the player in terms of prime game based on his date of birth, based on his jersey number, based on the role he plays. He can guide the coach, he can guide the investor, he can guide the management. Thereby, he plays a very pivotal role. So that is where this branch of astrology is so unique today, and it is so promising that people who understand astrology, who know astrology, can see a game within game. So when the contest is going on, they can still enjoy, oh, this is going to happen. This will happen like this. That is where you develop the interest in forecasting the outcome. That's where when you see those forecasts come true repeatedly, then you become a sports astrologer.
Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Amisha Shah and I am your host and host for a very new podcast show, The RR Show. This show is about science, astro-science. Friends, what do you think is astrology? In simple words, if I say, astrology means predicting the future with the celestial bodies, the sun, moon and different planets. Well, but if we go deep inside, how do we calculate it? How do we interpret it? And how do we actually perfectly implement it? Well, the answer to this, the key to this is the master, the astrologer. And today, I am very privileged to make you meet to one of the best masters in astrology. He has more than 30 years of experience in this field. Well, he is the revolutionary. You can say he has built up an era in many different fields, whether it be sports, politics, films, health or education. Well, let's meet none other than Dr. Ravi Rao. Hello sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I am so excited to meet you today, especially because we are going to talk about a very different topic, sports astrology. So, and you are someone who is a revolutionary who has kind of started this era of sports astrology, because I don't think so many people would have heard of it, but you were the first person who conceptualized it and put it out. So first of all, how did you and when did you think of sports astrology?
Yeah, astrology has been part of humans along the side of civilization. Everyone, whether it's in Hindu's philosophy, Egyptians, Sumerians. So around the world, everyone follows astrology in all eras, irrespective of the timelines. Then this particular branch of astrology, which is sports astrology, is become my favorite in early 90s. This branch of astrology is not new to me or not new to the world. Before British, there was a Roman Empire used to be there. When Romans used to have this horse racing, the elite families used to bet on those horses. Then the Greek astrologers who used to help these elite families in predicting those outcomes of horse races. That was the time when astrology of this branch came into limelight. I have read this in my second year of astrology course, which is advanced course, where this is called mundane astrology, where it has got many branches. The epidemics, calamities, sports, political outcomes, earthquakes, all these calamities can be predicted through mundane astrology. That was a branch we used to read only for the sake of scoring 50 or 100 marks. Then I adapted that into my practice in late 90s. I started enjoying every game, started seeing every game, every event through astro lens. So whenever there's a contest, whether it be a chess tournament, whether it is a football, whether it is a cricket or anything, or NBA for that matter, the basketball, the first prediction I gave was on one of the 90s Chicago Bulls match between those US. I went to the US first time that time. So I used to read the numerology, chest numbers, jersey numbers, captain, forward, defense. This is the language which I used to see.
Correct.
So I used to see who's the scorer, who's the passer, who's the defender. That is the language I used to put myself. And I used to come very close to the predictions. Then I started giving predictions. My friends started telling me that, yeah, your predictions are very correct. So I never took it seriously. Over a period of another 6-7 years, I went through cricket games and started watching cricket matches. Seen a lot of the systematic approach towards the game. And I started seeing that whenever these chess numbers were incorporated into the game, jersey numbers were there. And then I started understanding these numbers and colors have some deep impact on the game.
Okay.
Then I researched about more than 1,000 games. Then I came up with a book in 2015-16 and I launched 2017. Now books are fully out in the market and people are enjoying it. And now I developed an interest to take this branch of astrology, which is sports astrology, to a common man to make it as a career.
Okay.
It can be a career where he can guide his children, his students. If he's a coach, he can advise the investor to strengthen his bench. That is the branch of astrology which I am looking at.
Wow. So, when we are talking, there are so many questions that arise in my mind. But first of all, what I would like to ask you is that, like when you talk about normal astrology, like when a child is born, depending on all the celestial situation, the sun, the moon, there is a prediction that an astrologer gives. But correct me if I'm wrong, over here, combination of celestial bodies and also numerology is how you predict it. How do you go about it? If you can explain a little more.
Yes. The astrology of mother of all the sciences. It has been one of the Vedangas which is as good as Vedas. So this branch of astrology dealt in detail with everything. It is eyes of the Vedas. That means anything and everything can be seen through this subject. That is why it is called Jyotisha. Jyoti means light. Light shows you when you are in the darkness. So the saddest part is this astrology has been so badly used in the society. They only open it up when at the time of birth. Again, they open up at the time of marriage.
Correct.
Then in between, they forget the whole thing.
Yes.
It's not something which will give you something. It's like a navigating tool. That is the exact word for Jyotisha. Jyotisha means you navigate into means you can't force yourself on something which is not suitable to you.
Correct.
Which is detrimental to you.
Yes.
So you must try something where your passion is. To find that place, people take 20, 25 years, 30 years. Sometimes even they can't make out in their life.
So I think this is a very good tip, especially for the other parents who have young child, because as a parent, you are so, you want your child to be in the best and they keep on trying many different things. But I think if there is a path that they know for a child on which way, in which direction, especially in sports, to go, I think it can make it so much easier. So if you can elaborate a little bit more on that, on how it is defined. How do we know, how does a parent know by looking at the chart for a child that which sport would he be right in, or, will he be good in that or not?
That is where I started my life. When early 90s, people used to ask me, come for marriage, when will the marriage happen? When will the transfer will happen? When will the child is getting born? When is the transfer happening? All these questions. I did for 7-8 years. I was so accurate in those things. Then I felt this is something very, every street you will find an astrologer. Everybody does it. Yeah. So I moved away from there to other branches of astrology with my Guruji's guidance. And God's grace, I've excelled very well and did very well on this. When I incorporated those branches of astrology into daily astrology, I could predict not only the outcome of a child's effort, whether it become a sportsman or a doctor or an engineer. I would even guide when there is a birth of new member in the family, how to guide them, how to plan a child, and how to protect the family through a childbirth.
Okay.
All these branches, this is experimental. For me, it's experiment because I know it's a science which is dependable.
Correct. So specific to sports, like how is it decided that a particular person, child or a person, would be if we talk about, let's say, one particular sport being a cricket, he could be a good bowler or he could be a good batsman. How is that decided?
It is very interesting when I used to see a football match or any. The planets are very, very expressive. There are indoor games and outdoor games. There are group games and individual games. So planets which are indoor game is a different combination. Planets which are outdoor, where energy is exhibited, injury prone, they are outdoor. They are different games. And there are adventurous games like motorsports, adventurous, skiing, all these things are very big games they are. So cricket, I thought, is almost like religion in India.
Yes, absolutely.
Even in the cricket match, you see.
Yeah, so every parent would want their child to be a cricketer.
Yes. So that is where the starting point. When I started advising people, I used to say, they used to come and ask me, suppose out of 100 students, a coach teaches, only one or two will make it to the zonal level. Out of 1,000, maybe one will make it to Ranji Trophy or one will be a national player. So I believe that it's like this. Every planet, every person has some planetary strength.
Okay.
Even if he's a person who's zero in education, he must be definitely better in something else.
Yeah.
Even a person, we call it as arrogant, we call it jiddpana, wo admi, ekdam rigid admi hai. Those are the people who do extremely well in sports.
Right.
You take footballers like Rooney, they have a very rough childhood. Muhammad Ali, rough childhood.
Correct.
But they've excelled very well in sports. Because somebody should be there to give that Midas touch, to coach them, train them, turn that energy into action, then give the result, produce the result. Then they are the world-class people. So that is where the sports astrology has started.
So, sir, where do you see sports astrology today?
Yeah, having said that, sports astrology is a very dependable branch of astrology, like any other profession. In '83, when India won the World Cup, there was only one manager who carried everything, from bag to drinks to managing the whole logistics.
Correct.
Today, there are so many specialists, more number than the actual team as a support team. So every game is an investment for respect to country, respect to franchise, respect to player too. Even players too have managers to manage them today, whatever portfolio they have. Similarly, a sports astrologer's job is to increase the bench strength of the franchise. So he can see the longevity of the player in terms of prime game, based on his date of birth, based on his jersey number, based on the role he plays. He can guide the coach, he can guide the investor, he can guide the management. Thereby, he plays a very pivotal role. One day, very soon, every franchisee, every country will appoint sports astrologer to give the analysis of the world players to make their team more stronger. So that branch of astrology which has got a bright prospects, in my opinion. I would be happy if I see a sports astrologer in the next IPL season.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
The way it is growing.
That's what is on the cards right now.
So you often say that the toss is the boss.
Yeah.
So can you elaborate it? What do you mean by it and what impact does it have?
I will tell you. Everybody watches match. When some people go to the stadium, some people watch on the screen. We watch at home sometimes. We go. So any contest, for that matter, a time bound point A to point B, it is mathematical. A T20 format is 3 hours. A one-day format is 12 hours. A test format is 5 hours. So any contest when point A to point B is there, the role of planetary influence comes into the picture. So how do you see when two equal teams fight well prepared on an agenda to contest each other, to show their strength of their own quality of team? There is element of luck, there is element of nature, there is element of neutrality. That branch of that area which is dealt in astrology very clearly with mathematical accuracy.
Okay.
Toss is the boss. Why toss is the boss? Toss is the most neutral moment. Thereby both teams are at neutral. Somebody will choose they want to bat, somebody wants to bowl. So beyond their capacities, the nature challenges them. Wind factor comes into the picture. Pitch factor comes into the picture. Light factor comes into the picture. There are so many natural things are there.
Correct.
Above and all, there is a whole emotion. The whole country is behind you. Emotional attachment. There's a pressure on it. So astrology, as you know, subject which deals with moon, the mental aspect of the game. Thereby the whole country joins to the team. That is where this subject is very interesting. Once toss is there, you can cast a simple horoscope, allocate the houses, which is 12 houses, then you can start predicting the outcome. That is the way.
So, sir, in sports astrology, while predicting, which one do you give more importance to? So, whether it's a chart or numerology wise, whether you give more importance to that, is it an individual or an overall team? How does it affect?
The beauty of sports astrology is that I don't go to Native's horoscope. Native's horoscope has brought him to become what he is today. Sports field is there. As a captain, he is there. He is representing the country, he is there. That has already brought him, his destiny has brought him to become a sports person rather than a CEO of a company. Their natal astrologist becomes a stop. Now, he is no more belongs to himself. He belongs to the country or he belongs to the franchisee. He has to carry the franchisee's motto, spirit to the game and give his best. That is where the entire investment comes. So when they become the neutral people, the country's emotions comes into the picture. If Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma gets out, the whole country goes into tears.
Right.
In one of the matches we see. So what does it become? Who are they? They represent the country. They represent the franchise for that matter. So those horoscopes come into the picture. Then immediately what comes into the picture is the color of the jersey, on which day they are playing, at what venue they are playing, at what longitude they are playing. Then what role they are playing. No doubt as a captain, but is he batsman, is he bowler, is he an all-rounder? Then what jersey number he has.
So you're saying chart, numerology and also the color.
Yes, all these things become very interesting, parts and parcel of this entire package.
So it's like the combination of all that is seen.
Absolutely. So that is where this branch of astrology is so unique today, and it is so promising that people who understand astrology, who know astrology, can see a game within game. So when the contest is going on, they can still enjoy, oh, this is going to happen. This will happen like this. That is where you develop the interest in forecasting the outcome. That's where when you see those forecasts come true repeatedly, then you become a sports astrologer. There is a science, there's an art, there's a logic behind this. That is sports astrology.
So since it's astrology and you can kind of reach to a level of predicting it, do you think it can change also?
It's like this. For me as an astrologer can be wrong, but astrology will not be wrong. Maybe some inputs are wrong by me or by calculations can be wrong by any person. Say the outcome can go wrong. So a correct astrologer can be able to judge either by just jersey number or by the movement or the nanosecond calculation. This will happen. I think last one of the contests we have seen, through a wide ball they won the match, through no ball they won the match. Yeah. So they're gifted actually. So other person actually offered the victory. These people did not win it. So sometimes such kind of things also we have seen. I have seen thousands of matches and made notes in my diaries. So these are the things which I get very excited whenever I see such kind of combination. Right. That's what it is.
In all the different sports, there have been champions, there have been people in the history who have made, legends. And for example, if we talk about Kapil Dev, then why just Kapil Dev? Why there has been no other Kapil Dev or Sachin Tendulkar? Why no other Sachin Tendulkar? So their impact on the sport has been tremendous. So how is that? And why someone else was not able to create that impact?
Yes, there should not be any other Kapil Dev, there should not be another Tendulkar, because what they are, that's it. So nobody can replace them, nobody can be like them. That is the beauty of this subject. For me, they are my heroes too. When I saw these games, World Cup, whatever matches I saw ever since a child, they were lovely heroes for me always. Then that time, I think there was no chess numbers or whatever. Chess numbers came very late in Benson and Hedges, maybe around 84 something. But when I saw their horoscope through various researches, I could analyze their lagna, what factors made them so athletic about it, so energy driven, and their very grittiness, and what concentration they used to have. All these things I used to see and admire the planetary influence through their charts as an academic interest I took. When I see the modern game, it is much beyond that. Okay. Much beyond that means it is not just their energy or their good in sports. These new generation sports personalities are much gifted, much equipped with a lot of facilities in terms of training, coaching, and two, the kind of knowledge, awareness, and the kind of time they give it to the personality. They bring out the inner personality outside extremely well. Yes, these things are driven by planetary combinations only. That's why I see the modern players are going to have little edge over the old players, and much more better players you will see in the future to come. And in fact, if you ask me, the present society, the present generation, the cricketers have very short time in terms of their lifespan, in terms of playing
Play, correct.
energy time, whatever you say it. Or they will be specific to format driven. He will only play only T20. Somebody will play only test matches. Somebody will play only one day. You started seeing this trend again. That is nothing but a mental character or the jersey number which is taking over or which is playing their luck in the big game of cricket. That's what I put it. It's very amazing, but this is the truth.
There are different kind of sports, indoor, outdoor, both. So, does sports astrology apply to even the indoor games, or what all different games does it apply to?
Yeah, any game it can be predicted, or it can be predicted when you see, let us say, I take 100 students in a university who chosen sports ticked as their profession or a hobby. Probably my team, my research team can sit and analyze. These people can do well in group games. These people can do very well in individual games. This many group can do solo games. These people can do indoor games, and these people can do outdoor games. Some people I can say they may not be sports people, but they'll be sports analysts.
Okay.
Or sports commentators, or they can be umpires who are mentally strong. So that can be done, and that research is not very far.
Wow, that is so interesting. I mean, you can actually predict that who can be, what person can play what sort of role in a sport game. So, there are different planets. So, are different planets assigned to a particular sport?
Let us say game of boxing is fully Mars. It's violent, bloody, and they fight like anything, and it's almost like killing each other. Similarly, football, there is an injury, but football is a game of legs. So it is Saturn comes into the picture. So there is some game which is chess. Is again Mercury comes into the picture. The fastest. Think fast and move perfectly. One mistake, your game is over.
Yeah.
So each game has a tenet. The faster the format, the planets keeps changing. You want long format of the game, then Jupiter, Saturn will come into the picture. You want exhibition of energy, football or rugby, Mars will come into the picture. Jupiter, Venus comes into the picture in some case. Cricket, if you ask me, Venus plays a very role because it's not just a physical fitness or energy. You need to have a mental strength, the nerve to hold the pressure. That's the Venus comes into the picture. He's as good as Jupiter. So I analyze these things and I enjoy whenever I see horoscope of a sports person, I start looking into those factors, what made them, what is going to make them be what he wants to be.
Right.
That's really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, if you were a coach, then what are the astrological factors that you would consider while choosing the players or before the game?
See, in every sport, every game, every player is superstitious. Some people will wear a torn cloth. Some people will keep a handkerchief. Some people put a coin in their pockets. They will put their chain outside. All are superstitious in nature. But a coach should not be superstitious. He should be a rational coach. If I were the coach for a cricket team, I would divide the entire lot given to me by the selection committee into 3 lots, which is a game of cricket. The batsman, who's supposed to put score on the board. The bowlers, who should defend the score in making other opponents out. There are all-rounders, not the fielders, the all-rounders. All-rounders are those who bring balance, like midfielders in football. Sometimes they do the goal, sometimes they balance the game, they control the speed of the game. So these are the all-rounders. So I give importance to this balance with a perfect combination of jersey transmission. Jersey transmission means what jerseys are batting combinations, what jerseys are bowling combination, what jerseys are all-rounder combination. I give more importance to that,
Okay.
along with the talent and on that particular day who's in the good nick. That also I take consideration. But to your surprise, I'll tell you, in what are best champion games I've seen, what are the batting finish I've seen, all of them have really came to play what kind of bowler is going to stop. That's what people death overs. There's a specialist in death overs, bowling. So what kind of how they stop sometimes, how they take so many wickets sometimes. And there are some batters only play extremely well in the last 5 overs. They are specialist batsmen. So these things, when I see these jersey numbers and the colors, I'm amazed to see, because this IPL of 10, 12 editions, whatever, has given you so many options of research, analysis on various players, various jersey numbers, combinations, colors, different venues. It is phenomenal database which is available. So I will put 2, 3 fellows on the job to not understand my team. Who is my opponent? I will research on them. Accordingly, I'll make my strategy. That is what I would like to do it, because that's what is really interesting.
Sir, are there any particular astrological factors in terms of the positions of the players, like a batsman, a wicket keeper?
Yes, of course. The choice of the player is individual. He wants to be wicketkeeper, he wants to be batsman, he wants to be bowler, he wants to be an all-rounder. They get picked up based on their talents. But on the match playing 11, there is a interesting combination. As I told you earlier, set of batsmen, set of bowlers, set of all-rounders. When it comes to your playing 11 versus the other playing 11, who are your opening batsmen? Who are the opponent opening batsmen? What are their jersey numbers? That comes into the picture. Will they put up a good opening partnership? Thereby the rest of the team can build their innings, or they disappoint you. That is the important role on any given match, whether it is a shorter format or a longer format. And I've seen this happening in many matches for a long, long time.
Okay. So if you can tell us a little bit more about the DLS method.
Yes, DLS method is one method which evolved, as there could not be any other better method in those days. Though they came up with a formula of number of overs versus number of wickets versus total target and whatever it is. But in my book, what I mentioned is, whenever there is a DLS method comes into the operation, the result will be completely gone off the track. The predictive techniques won't work, because the very disruption of the game itself must have been indicated at the time of the toss. The match is going to be disturbed. So the forecast of the whole game getting disturbed itself is a forecast. So DLS method then means result is gone. So that's what I have experienced in my earlier experiences.
Oh, quite interesting. Yes. And now I'm going to ask you a very interesting question, which I'm sure that all the viewers would like to know. So if you were given a task of selecting a team for the World Cup, then what are the different astrological factors that you will consider?
Expect the most unexpected. That's what I would call it. Somebody who is not expecting to be a hero will emerge as a hero in this World Cup. So all known players, known batters, all those people may not have that kind of this thing, because it is a long game and very long duration is there. But a new heroes will emerge in this World Cup for any team, whichever is going to win. Yeah, I'm not going to give you the prediction who will win, because as I told you, the match winning depends on the toss time and the venue and the team that is going to post. Right now we only know two factors: who is captaining which team, which country's horoscopes are there, what venues and what dates they're playing.
Correct.
Toss is yet to be made. So game is on, game baki hai.
So abhi predict nahi kar sakte. Sir, I want to dive a little bit more in depth into this. So if you can tell me how exactly the chart looks like and how it is prepared and what are the important parameters that are considered in it.
It is called game chart, which technically is called a technical analysis, which I would say for every astrologer to understand. Even the common man who understands astrology is easy to understand. When two people are contesting for the same prize. Like you see energy, you see their strategy, you see their game, strengths, weakness, everything you do. Same in astrology, you cast a horoscope for the toss time. And you have 12 houses to allocate. So, to be fairness, 6 houses to one team, 6 houses to other team. So, whosoever wins the toss will be the ascendant, that's the Lagna,
Okay.
the toss winning team. That is one of the best methods to take, toss winning team. So, obviously, by losing the toss, you are an opponent. You're being challenged. You are at the opponent side. So, there's 7th house, which is 180 degrees to the first house. Then the second house comes into the picture. The fans and your favorites. The emotional aspect of which if it's a country, the country will be behind. If it's a franchisee, the fans will be behind you. That is the second house from the Lagna. The third house is the captain and the coach. On their drawing board, in the dressing room, they will strategize how to stop this player, how to block this player, how to bowl first 5 overs, how to contain runs. All this matrix happen in the dressing room, on the drawing board. Strategy, that is the third house, where they communicate, they assign roles to each player, what role they should play, and they'll take the roles on their positions. The fourth house is opposite to 10th house. So the native team's 10th house is profession. Their job is to post runs on the board. So the fourth house is the opposite 10th house, means opposite team's score will be known through fourth house. Now there comes the fifth house. How the strategy is what planned in the third house, it is been executed on the ground. That is captain's role. Whether they have to have 2 slips, 3 slips, catching positions, how he executes the plan between the bowler or the batsman on the ground is what captain's role. Sixth one is freebies, extra runs, leg buys, no balls, all these things. Now same thing, the 7th house is opposite team. Same thing repeats. Their second house is their fans and followers. Their coach and captain is third house. That fourth house is the scoreboard of this native team. This fourth house is their 10th house. Their fifth house again, their execution on the time. Their sixth house is free runs. So very evenly divided contest on a horoscope can be cast, and which I explained very detailed. And after this, you can start seeing the color of the day, friendliness of the planets. Settled batsman is there. The captain wants to break the partnership. So if I will have a knowledge, I will just say, okay, now this bowler will work against them. So naturally, the situation will come like that bowler will bring the break to that. Then the chips. So all these things are fantastically analyzed over the period, and all those games have been analyzed in the book. So I would go to the game with this approach. So I would know exactly what captain is thinking, what coach is thinking, provided I have read the book.
What are your views on the Asian Cup that happened in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, it was a very interesting tournament. But for me, every tournament is the same. But only thing is, I take a position as an astrologer on one side, as a cricket enthusiast on the other side. And I have a couple of people who are in a group. We discuss about planets, how they worked, and all these things. This Asia Cup is special because it is mostly challenged with the weather conditions all across. And we know the tough teams are there, and Asian cricket has improved over the last many years. So the world ranking number 1 Pakistan team thought will go into the finals with Indian team, which is the second best team. And even the local team, which is Sri Lanka, which is the strongest team, and who are defending champions, 2 are in the race. And out of the blue, Bangladesh started playing so well suddenly. Their fitness level, the way they challenged out other teams. And they beat in India in one of the matches too.
True.
So that's again the game will come in the last overs if you see how the game shifted. So as I was trying to explain to you, this Asia Cup, the last match which blown to the wind by the storm, and is again the Duckworth Lewis method. Everybody wanted, the whole world will be looking into the toss, who will win the toss, what will they do, and there are some pitch reporters which they come, they will bat or they will bowl, this much score is enough 250 they'll make, 270 is a good, all these things they'll tell. Everybody starts forecasting. And you also have something in mind. Something is going to happen. But no expert ever knew that the match will be over in 6 overs time. That is the Duckworth-Lewis. If you see the toss, India lost the toss. And immediately the rain has come. The match got stopped. Oh. So nature again given benefit to the Indian team. And again, they were fabulously exhibiting they showcased their entire talent. I would say that way. Or you can say their defeat against Bangladesh have brought them back not to challenge their whatever effort they've been doing over the years. And they've given extraordinary performance and this exhibition of fantastic pace bowling in front of such a lovely audience. So I would see my takes are such things do happen, but the World Cup is more interesting than this.
Very true, very true.
It's more interesting than this because more number of teams are coming. It's not Asia. Now, do we see Asian cricket or world cricket? The defending champions, England is raring to defend their title. Number 1 position, Australia is coming up. And India should take home advantage what they have. At the same time, there's a lot of pressure on that. So we all wish and give our luck to them. And we'll see a happy cricket going around. And I would like to see more sports astrologers coming along with the winners of the cup in this edition of World Cup.
So, this is a very interesting thing where it is leading to, okay, the more you are saying, the more I want to know more about it and more questions are coming to my mind. And as you rightly said, you already written a book about it where you talk about all these parameters. So, if you can tell us a little bit more about the book. Who is it for? Is it for someone who's into astrology, who wants to learn sports astrology, or someone who's raw or naive like me, who doesn't really much understand about it, but is quite intending to learn more about it?
Yeah, though I started as a method which I wanted to practice, I wanted to bring it up as a book initially. Having written the book, having launched it, having spread it, it is fully sold out, people are enjoying it, they formed a group, they keep asking you. Some people are into betting who will be challenging each other. I didn't never get into that side of it. That's very interesting too. But betting is unofficial in India, in abroad betting is legal. Right. You can buy through your credit card, whatever. But when it comes to this methodology in this game, I never get bored in any game of cricket wherever it is being played because when the game contest is happening on the ground while sitting at the balcony or at a theatre, my own space, I would only see numbers and I would only start seeing only through planetary language. I would know whatever combination, how it worked, how this worked, like that.
So there are 2 games that are playing.
Absolutely.
One is in your
One
mind.
is in your mind. So if you learn this methodology, you are never out of the game, my dear. That's the beautiful part of this game. So you will appreciate this subject, you will fall in love with the subject, and you exactly know how it's operating.
So the book really helps you to kind of understand it in depth and...
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. You don't have to be an astrologer. You have an interest for astrology, you understand 12 houses, it's very simple mathematics. Like in a game, he's an all-rounder, point mein player chahiye, slip mein player chahiye. Like that, you start positioning things, make a notes, keep a pen and pencil along with you while watching the match, draw it, and then you get it.
So this is a very interesting point which I would want all the viewers to completely understand, that you don't have to be an astrologer to buy his book and understand it. You just have to be a cricket lover or a football lover. You just have to have an intention of enjoying the sport and then you will enjoy it better.
Yes, I would say, since everything revolves around the number and color, there are interesting charts are there. If numbers, 9 numbers, if you can remember, how 9 numbers will happen? Not just 1 to 9. A 33 is 6, right? 5-1 is also a 6. So how they would different from each other while playing the role, that's what you can always see.
Well, I have so many questions that are popping in my mind. I would want to summarize it by asking you one last question. And that is, what is your best experience in sports astrology?
Yeah, I'm fortunate to have witnessed a lot of matches, a lot of contests around the globe, personally and viewed on the camera, the TV. But one interesting game which I would always cherish was the game which I shared with my children, my friends, who are other sports enthusiasts, a game of football, the last World Cup. The whole world was talking about Messi's last World Cup, and they lost to a Saudi Arabia match in the first match. So everybody started trolling them. So I got very interested to see the outcome of the entire tournament. So I got ready. I made my preparations. I started forecasting that he will have a last laugh and he will win the cup, the Messi. And more interestingly, about the prediction part, I'm not very excited about the prediction part. But how the game happens while you are watching it with the knowledge of planets around you. So the game starts with equal forward. As I told you, game of football is three chapters in football. One is the team who are forwards. Their job is to score goals. The midfielders whose job is to balance the game and speed of the game and give accurate passes. And there's a defense on the backside which they have to defend the opponent forwards. And there are goalkeepers who have to become a wall in front of the goal. So I kept it very simple. So whenever I saw 9, 10, 11 come as forwards of the game, they dominate. Because 9 is Mars, 10 is Sun, 11 is again Moon, friend of these two. So they give a very good combination to become forwards. Then goalkeepers, either their C is number 1 or 23, or there's some numbers are there. So, and color what they wear. So this is what simply I used to keep it. So when Argentina scored goals, they were leading until the 60th minute or so. Suddenly they bring a change with number 22 in the forward. Somebody goes and somebody comes in. I said that now this is a bad time for them, whatever. I was chatting with my other friends who were sitting and watching with me. And immediately you start seeing 2-3 goals in a row. Their scores were leveled. And the match goes into extra time. And match goes to extra time again. Is again a tough time to have. The match got extended. So in the last minute, I think 1 minute to complete the extra time, again Messi scores one more goal. That mystically it happens. And then that's also get him tie. So when the penalty shootout came, when they give the numbers to each, so I said these are the numbers who will miss.
Okay.
Just because that is out of the game. The most unfair way to judge a football game is penalty shootout, because the game is over. Then what would they have to decide the result. So when I saw these jersey numbers who are going to take the shot, and I said this is what is going to happen. And of course, I'm also a fan of Messi above the game of football. So we all enjoyed thoroughly this entire moment of that. That was the best thing which I would say. My people witnessed me playing as a sports astrologer's role in forecasting every game live, I would say. So they acknowledge my knowledge more than anything else. So all that knowledge goes to Indian subject called astrology. I'm a humble student, and thanks to my Guruji and my great gurus and gods who guides me always in any game or any time of situation, and I enjoy that very moment.
On a lighter note, people who would be your friends and family who would be there around you would be first looking at you and thinking on what is he going to forecast, and then looking there. The game would be much more interesting for them.
Yeah, it is interesting. Sometimes they themselves too predict. My son studies in New York. He says, this is going to happen. And immediately when he sees that one, he says, how did you know? So that is something. But sometimes it works as a spoiler, you see. We don't want to be a spoiler. And in sports, everything is sportsmanship. So you lose, you win. But you must enjoy the game on a bigger subject. And we appreciate this kind of subject which is originated from India since ancient times. And is still alive. And it's going to spread across like fire. That's what is expected now.
Thank you so much, sir. Today you have given so much of knowledge on such an interesting subject. I'm sure now viewers would be going out of their house, buying your book and reading it thoroughly so that they can predict the future.
Yeah.
So it was a very interesting session. Lot of questions you answered it so clearly. The magical part about astrology is that no chart is same. It is all unique. Well, are you into prediction? Then keep on watching such interesting topics right here. Thank you very much, sir. We will keep on meeting again with such interesting topics.
Thank you.